You're the voice of reason. Indescribable yet pleasing. What's the scoop today in your battle for truth, justice, and the American way? Home health and politics, conspiracy theories or karate kicks, intelligent discussions on the issues of the day, but tell them not to call unless they got something to say. What's the word for now? Can you tell me how? Will our team win? I guess it depends on what shape they're in. Home health or politics, conspiracy theories or cement bricks, intelligent discussions on the issues of the day. Tell them not to call unless they got something to say.
Hello, Uncle Henry.
Man, you're really cool.
Hello, Uncle Henry.
You ain't nobody's fool.
Hello, Uncle
You live by the golden rule. When there's a fiery discussion, you supply the fuel. Man, you're really hip.
Hello, Uncle Henry.
You don't take no lip.
Hello, Uncle Henry.
Man, you got it under control. If there's one thing you got, it's a lot of soul. On the thing we like about you, Uncle Henry, if you have a caller who's particularly pugnacious, quarrelsome, contentious, belligerent, truculent, or scathingly harsh, you simply disconnect the lines of communication. Oh, yeah. In other words, you hang up on the fool. Yeah. You're the Duke of Decorum, the Prince of Propriety, the Emperor of Excellence, the Sultan of Sensibility, and the Maharaja of Magnificence. Ba-do-do-do-do-do.
Uncle Henry.
Oh, yeah.
710 Time Saver Traffic from the Main Street Flooring and Design Traffic Center.
Traveling in Mobile, accident on Highway 158 eastbound at Shelton Beach Road. In Santa Rosa, still got one on 90 eastbound at Avalon Boulevard, and an Escambia one on a 9-mile road near Saltgrass Drive. I-10 east traffic into Mobile, still got a 30-minute drive time from I-65 to the eastern shore of the Bayway. I'm Joshua Dausch.
This report is sponsored by Positive Coaching Alliance.
Got issues with youth or high school sports? Positive Coaching Alliance can help. PCA, a national nonprofit, offers more than 1,000 free online resources for youth and high school sports coaches, parents, students, and administrators. Visit PCADevZone.org.
If you see traffic trouble, call the Acadian Windows traffic tip line at pound 250, keyword total traffic when prompted. Acadian Windows, your hurricane protection specialists.
Now, your chance to win $1,000. Enter this nationwide keyword on our website. Deposit. That's deposit. Enter it now at newsradio710.com. The Uncle Henry Show. Weekday afternoons from 5 till 7.
I wanted to tell you, too, about a friend of mine. Her name was Betty, too. Moved from the Bay, right here on the Bay. And she moved over to Daphne.
Yes.
And told me how wonderful it was to drive that drive to Daphne. She said, you just leave your troubles behind in Mobile. And by the time she got home, she was a new person every day.
This is the Uncle Henry Show here on News Radio 710 WNTM. Thank you. I appreciate very much you listening to the Uncle Henry Show. Once again, here we are together, me and you, trying to figure out what is going on. What is going on? What is going on in the world around us? Well, if you can tell me, telephone lines are open. 251-479-2723. That's 251-479-2723. Email address, unclehenry@iheartmedia.com. That's unclehenry@iheartmedia.com to send an old-fashioned electronic mail message to the Uncle Henry Show. And yes, here we are. Now, plenty of things, of course, to talk about. There always is. Especially during these times in which we live. There's one thing I do want to mention here at the beginning of the program, and that is the unfortunately familiar subject of the Fantasy Bridge. The bridge that I've called it the Fantasy Bridge for numerous years, because the bridge, this new bridge that people have dreamed about, have hoped about, have prayed about, have fantasized about. This bridge, it's been thought about for years, fantasized about for years, dreamed about, prayed about for years. And I've often wondered, will it ever really get built? Will it ever really get built? In fact, I remember I was asked to speak to a civic group back years ago, back when people actually invited me to do stuff like that. I remember talking to some group that met at the Athelston Club, probably about 15 years ago. And at the end of my brief but excellent talk, I took questions from the audience, and one of these wealthy guys at the Athelston Club asked me what I thought would be the top topics talked about 20 years in the future in Mobile. And I told him I thought one of the top topics would be, are we ever going to build the bridge? And everybody just laughed. There was hearty laughter. Those 15 years ago, lots of hearty laughter. But here we are. And today, there's a story in Lagniappe, lagniappemobile.com on their website. They've got it as breaking news. And the news is that the people building the bridge have said that it'll be next year. They thought it was going to be this year that they broke ground on it. They were telling us, hey, it'll be this year. It's going to be 2025. Everybody get excited. 2025, we're going to break ground on that bridge. It will no longer be the Fantasy Bridge. You know, I started believing it was going to happen. In fact, I've told you the story. I was doing one of these 95 KSJ concerts down at the wharf in Orange Beach, and some woman came up, and middle-aged woman, she said she had just moved to Mobile because she was hired as some kind of federal contractor to get this bridge going. I thought, wow, people are moving here to build it. Now the spokesperson for ALDOT says it's going to be next year. Ain't going to be this year. What does Lagniappe say? Story written by Kyle Hamrick. Lagniappe says the ALDOT spokesperson told Lagniappe this morning that even though they got a contractor moving these projects forward, the agency's still searching for additional funding, has not yet finalized a budget. Because of that, they hope to break ground on the project in 2026. So they're not saying, yeah, we're going to do it in 2020. Now it's they hope to break ground on the project in 2026. Now, what do you think? You think it's really going to happen? I know there are some people, I've met them, they've moved here for this. You think it'll happen in 2026? Should I get my hopes up for this in 2026? They don't even have a budget yet. Still looking for more money. Do you think the cost of building a bridge will go down next year? Now, I've got some audio that I've saved in the audio archives. This is from 2016. I had a congressman on the show telling me that they were going to break ground in 2017. It was this interview. I had this interview with this congressman in 2016, in August of 2016, and the congressman was on this show telling me publicly in front of the listeners, the ears of the listeners, that the ground would be broken the next year, 2017. Here is a brief clip of this.
I think we're going to start building on it sometime probably late next year. But remember, it's a 4 to 6 year build.
Late next year?
Yeah.
That soon?
Yes, sir.
No, sir. No. Actually, it did. Believe it or not, it did not happen. And even though it was a federal official, an elected federal official, a congressman, telling me it would be 2017, no, didn't happen. Here.
Why don't you and I, we'll make a date, we'll drive across it together. But remember, I said a 4 to 6 year build.
All right, 4 to 6 years build. So 6 years, help me do the math, 2017, 6 year build. That would have been approximately 2023, right? That we would have driven together. Right.
So even if we start next year,
I've still got to live.
Even if we start next year, you're talking about 2021, 2022, 2023, maybe 2024 before it's completed.
Maybe 2024. Well, it'd be done by now. I had a congressman sitting here and tell me it would be done by last year. Well, here we are. Now a spokesperson for ALDOT says they hope that they hope to break ground next year. They're hoping. So now, I guess now it becomes the fantasy bridge again. For me, it's a fantasy. And now, once again, I have to wonder, if it is built, will I live to see it happen? And if I do, will I be able to physically drive across it? Or will it simply be somebody driving my remains across it?
710 Time Saver Traffic from the Main Street Flooring and Design Traffic Center.
Traveling in Mobile, accident on Highway 158 eastbound at Shelton Beach Road in Santa Rosa. Still got one on 90 eastbound at Avalon Boulevard, and an Escambia one on a 9-mile road near Saltgrass Drive. I-10 east traffic into Mobile. Still got a 30-minute drive time from I-65 to the eastern shore of the Bayway. I'm Joshua Dausch.
This report is sponsored by Positive Coaching Alliance.
Got issues with youth or high school sports? Positive Coaching Alliance can help. PCA, a national nonprofit, offers more than 1,000 free online resources for youth and high school sports coaches, parents, students, and administrators. Visit PCADevZone.org.
Uncle Henry here with... Yes, I am. All right, YouTube viewers, I think I might have a couple. Let me see. And we have a small number of people looking in. Metalhead, hello to you. KP of shirtbutter.com, no, I will not cross it as a zombie. Zombies are of the devil. And I am confident that I've accepted Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior, and thus as a person who's accepted Jesus Christ as his Lord and Savior, I do not believe that the Lord would allow my remains to be animated by a demon. I just don't believe that. I don't believe that the bodies of the faithful will have demons animating them as my soul will be in heaven. So I will not cross as some type of demonic zombie. Sharon of Fairhope, hello. Nelson, hello. Bama Big Man. Bama Big Man, you forgot about the bridge? All right, yeah. Ben Griffin, thank you, Ben. You could be watching reruns of Alice, so I'm quite honored. Now, I forgot to put in the bumper music. Let me get that ready. The bumper music for the next segment is called Agent 99. Agent 99. All right, let's see. Pardon me, I'm still getting the bumper music going here. And let me go ahead and do one more just to make sure. I don't want to be caught without the bumper music. All right, all right. Hello to Rebecca Lockwood. Richard Harvey. Richard Harvey, thank you for your donation to the Out of the Darkness walk. Thank you for that, Richard Harvey. I was touched by that. Bamba Big Man. Thank you to Bamba Big Man. I was touched by that. Thank you to Sharon of Fairhope for your donation. I was touched by that. Thank you very much. Out of the Darkness walk. I'll probably talk a little bit, not a lot, but a little bit about it tomorrow on the program. The multi-fandom girly, hello to you. Thank you for looking in. All right, let's see. Back on the radio here in about 45 seconds. We have some callers waiting. I'm sure they're going to admonish me and tell me that I'm wrong, that the bridge is going to be built lickety-split, and I'm being negative, and I really need to shut up and talk about something else. That's what I'm guessing. That's what I'm guessing.
We have millions of listeners. We bring you behind the scenes, inside the White House, the Senate, the Supreme Court. So download Verdict with Ted Cruz now, wherever you get your podcasts.
News? Check. Traffic and weather? Check. Opinions? Check. This is the Uncle Henry Show, only on News Radio 710 WNTM.
Uncle Henry Show here on News Radio 710 WNTM. It's 5:20. News headlines coming up in 10 minutes. Telephone number is 251-479-2723. By the way, you're of course listening on the radio probably, or on the iHeartRadio app, or some people near our transmitter on Telegraph Road hear the show on their dental work. You can also watch on YouTube, live on YouTube right now. The first hour of the Uncle Henry Show live on YouTube. Just look for the Uncle Henry Show on YouTube. Let me go to the phones. I've got callers waiting. Hello, caller.
Good evening, Uncle Henry.
Bert, you are live on the radio.
There is a very sad case happening right now in Texas. A man was about to be executed for what's called shaken baby syndrome. That's what they said his daughter died from, 2-year-old daughter.
Yes.
I've just recently read posts saying that there are vaccines whose side effects are exactly the same as what's called shaken baby syndrome. So it's entirely possible that this child was killed not by her father but by her pediatrician. This happens every day, Uncle Henry. When I was a kid, I got 1 shot when I went to a doctor visit. Now they get 10 at a time. And they wonder why these kids die. And it's euphemistically called sudden infant death syndrome, or crib death. No, it's vaccine death, Uncle Henry, and Big Pharma is not admitting it, and doctors are not admitting it because they're getting bonuses to give these vaccines. But it's happening every single day. And this kid could very well have been the victim of a vaccine loaded with mercury and aluminum that overwhelmed her system, and they're blaming it on the father.
Well,
affair.
I don't know anything at all about this case, but I'm guessing it's probably too late for the dad, right? I mean, I don't know how you would prove that. Would you? Is there any way on earth you could ever prove that?
Not without getting in Big Pharma's crosshairs, Uncle Henry. You'd be a target. People have been whacked for admitting that vaccines kill babies. This would open up a huge can of worms if this man were exonerated when it was proven that his kid was killed by the pediatrician in a routine procedure and not by a fit of anger on his part. He has denied right up till the moment he was about to be executed that he did anything to that child. And I think they're blaming a vaccine death on the father because the symptoms are exactly the same.
Well, this if there's anything to all this, I guess now is the point in history where we might find out if there is anything to it, because otherwise there are no politicians other than the ones you got right now that would even look at that.
The only candidate for president in 2016 that was bringing up the issue was Senator Rand Paul. He was my second choice for president that year. He was the only one that was doing anything that would go up against the pharmaceutical industry, which bankrolls the campaigns of candidates on both sides of the aisle. And if he runs for president again, he's going to have my vote.
All right. Well, anything else, Bert? Are you still waiting until November for your next gig?
As far as I know, November the 7th at the Blues Tavern.
All right. Well, keep reminding me.
All right. Thanks, Uncle Henry, and thanks for taking my call.
Thank you, Bert, for listening and for calling. 251-479-2723 is the telephone number here on the Uncle Henry Show. And I don't know if there's, of course, lots and lots being said about vaccines over the last several years. It would be nice in the next few years if they just put everything through as many safety protocols as possible, just to, for people that are nervous about it, just go through some safety protocols and make sure that everything is as safe as humanly possible. I know there's a lot of blowback on it these days, but if we're ever going to have that happen, it'll be in the next few years. 251-479-2723, the telephone number here on the Uncle Henry Show. Hello, caller.
Uncle Henry.
Yes, sir.
Is it Roland? Thanks for taking my call.
Yes, sir.
I heard you say earlier about how crazy it has gotten. It's supposed to be, according to the word, supposed to be one of the worst times since ever been a world. This time that we're living in, we should not expect anything different. It should be just whacked out. People are doing all, but don't worry. Hang on. God promised He'll never leave us nor forsake us. So buckle up your seatbelt and hold on, going for the ride. On the bridge.
Yes, sir.
It's already being built. What those pylons that you see out there, bridge pylons and poles and things, that's part of the bridge.
I think that is
have a bridge.
Yeah, I think that's testing.
Those.
I think that is testing.
No. Oh no, I pass by them every day. It's being built.
Okay, well they have not broke ground for it according to the state, and they don't have a budget for it yet.
Well,
so whatever they're doing, I was told that was testing.
No, if you get out of your vehicle and walk to the edge of the water, you can see those big, huge concrete pylons to keep those barges and things from hitting the bridge.
Okay.
Those are being put in place.
Okay.
Even down around the port. If you go around the port, see those tall pylons and things that are being put in. Oh, those are not tests. Those are the real poles and things that are being put. They are concrete.
Okay.
They're being put in. Oh, yes, it's being built.
All right.
Righty.
Well, I trust you. I trust you, Roland, more than Al Dott. So I'm going with you.
I pass them. Well, I pass them every day. Yes, sir. All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Good to hear from you today. 251-479-2723, the telephone number. Look, I had a congressman sitting here back in 2016 and tell me he was going to drive me across that bridge, and it would be finished and ready to go by 2024. And now here we are. AlDOT is saying they don't know if they're going to get the groundbreaking next year or not. They're hoping next year will be groundbreaking. So I'm just going to try, Roland. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm not going to expect it. I'm just going to make arrangements with my loved ones and put it into my will that I don't know if I want my remains driven across it or maybe just a memento of some memento from my life that they may. I might drive, maybe my hairpiece. Maybe I will, instead of being buried with my hairpiece, maybe I will specify in my last will and testament that my hairpiece be driven across the new bridge, and then you can take the hairpiece to my gravesite.
710 Time Saver Traffic from the Main Street Flooring and Design Traffic Center.
Eastbound I-10, still very heavy getting into downtown Mobile. Just under 40 minutes from I-65 to the eastern shore of the Bayway. That congestion really kicks in around the Broad Street on-ramp. Westbound I-10, problem-free through the area. In Mobile, you also have an accident on Highway 158 eastbound at Shelton Beach. I'm Joshua Dausch, Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Lowe's. Member Week is here at Lowe's. My Lowe's Rewards members get up to 40% off hundreds of items plus free standard shipping. Join for free today. Free standard shipping not available in Alaska and Hawaii. Exclusions and more terms and conditions apply. Details at lowes.com/terms subject to change.
Hello, I'm Cameron Taylor with Fox 10 News. Mobile police identified the suspect and victim in last night's homicide on Schillinger Road. Police say officers responded to the Circle K on Schillinger Road South in response to a report of someone being hit by a car. Now, police discovered the car left the scene with the victim trapped underneath. They say they later found the car on Dawes Lane East, about 2 miles away. The victim, identified as Sam Walker, was found dead near the car. Investigators say a fight happened between the victim and the suspect, identified as Jacob Cross. Cross has been arrested and is facing murder charges. Mobile police say one person was taken into custody after a man was cut in the head with a machete. It happened Wednesday at Central Plaza Towers in Crichton. Investigators say the victim suffered non-life-threatening injuries after being cut with what they later described as a knife during an altercation. He was taken to a hospital. Police arresting 41-year-old Henry McGee. He's facing assault charges. Well, the Fairhope community is saying goodbye to a piece of history. Neighbors were downtown in front of a popular mural that's drawn visitors and locals for decades. The old Fairhope hardware store, home to the iconic artwork, is set to be demolished. Now, there have been talks of a hotel project possibly replacing the landmark, but right now, it's unclear what will occupy the new space in the future. I'm Cameron Taylor with Fox 10 News on this iHeartRadio station.
This is News Radio 710 WNTM.
Fox News, I'm John Saucier. President Trump in the Oval Office the day after announcing the first phase of a ceasefire agreement between Israel and Hamas, where he told the press a peace deal's been made.
It's a great honor to have been working on it, and as you know, it's all finalized and done.
48 hostages still said to be held by Hamas in Gaza, 20 of whom are thought to be alive. On Fox Business, South Carolina Congresswoman Nancy Mace says the world was against President Trump and everyone was wrong.
The media mocked him, the left dismissed him, and look what he has achieved. He built this base off of the Abraham Accords, which were historic in his first term, and he's the guy, he's the president, he's the leader of the free world, bringing peace to the Middle East.
President Trump says Middle Eastern allies are going to help to reconstruct Gaza and credited them with putting pressure on Hamas to bring them to an agreement with Israel. America's listening to Fox News.
YouTube viewers going to be back on the radio here in less than 3 minutes. Let me make sure there's still somebody watching on YouTube, and there you are. Hello to 68-year-old Chris of West Loxley. Chuck Greer bringing some maturity to the chant. Hat Nelly. Let's see. Weird news. Before I go back on the radio, some weird news for you watching in the chat on YouTube. Monday, there was some scary moments in a Charlotte, North Carolina Family Dollar store. It seems that there were two women in there, and a woman demanded the NASCAR shirt that was being worn by the other woman. The woman wearing the NASCAR shirt refused the request. An argument ensued. Water bottles were thrown from a cooler. After that, the woman that wanted the NASCAR shirt left the store and came back with a gun and pointed it at the head of a random woman that was not involved. So the lady that wanted the shirt is now in jail. Just be careful wearing, well, that was Charlotte, North Carolina. A surfer in Australia was bitten by a shark a couple of times and had the composure to pull himself out of the water and then get in his vehicle and drive to the hospital. You know, I guess you do what you have to do if nobody else is there. All right, back on the radio here in about 30 seconds. And public television, they had their federal funding cut off, so they are auctioning off 30 Bob Ross paintings. And they're going to give the money to small and rural public television stations. 30 Bob Ross pictures.
If you feel different, you drive different. Drive high, get a DUI. Paid for by NHTSA.
This is News Radio 710 WNTM.
This is the Uncle Henry Show here on News Radio 710 WNTM. It's 5:35. You can also hear me on FM radio. I'm on 95 KSJ Monday through Friday between 10 and 2, playing today's hottest country music. Tomorrow, I'll have your chance to win tickets to see Hardy. Hardy is going to be in concert at the Wharf in Orange Beach. Saturday, May 23rd. Tickets go on sale tomorrow. I'll have your chance to win tickets right after 1 p.m. on 95 KSJ tomorrow. It will be right around 1:15. So if you're interested, you want to win those tickets, be listening at 1:15 tomorrow to 95 KSJ. That's when you have a chance to win tickets to see Hardy. Telephone number here is 251-479-2723. That's 251-479-2723. Email address unclehenry@iheartmedia.com. That's unclehenry@iheartmedia.com. Got some voicemails to get into here, as well as taking your live phone calls. Now, it's been a while since we've heard from longtime caller Norman.
Hey, Unc.
Oh, this is a different Norman. This is not the longtime caller Norman. There's a different Norman.
Stormin' Norman.
Stormin' Norman. All right, Stormin' Norman. What is on his mind in this voicemail message?
I want to call in about the daggum issues on Hillcrest Road after they just paved it.
All right, so this is the newly paved. Now, I haven't gone out there and looked at the paving of Hillcrest, but in Mobile City Council meetings, I've heard this discussed briefly by Mobile City Councilman Josh Woods.
This is primarily between Cottage Hill and Gerby Road, actually all the way down to Nevius. You know, Ben Reynolds was bragging about how much money he got and how much money he spent on paving and how many miles he did. All that is wonderful. Hillcrest really didn't need it, but the thing that really irks me is they always leave the manholes low. You can't drive down Hillcrest Road in any lane now without hitting the manhole that's too low. I don't understand it. I really don't. And it's still the same way on Cottage Hill Road between Solly Road and Hillcrest. You got to dodge the manholes, otherwise you're going to beat the fillings out of your teeth. I don't understand it. Call 311. We've had many reports about it, many reports. Come on, let's get something going on this, huh? It's ridiculous. I guarantee you the contractor's been paid. Have a good day. Bye.
All right. Storm Maneuver, thank you for that report. Normally you get reports about streets that have been in disrepair for years, like the streets I walk on every day with my dog in Midtown, streets that have not been fixed since, 30 years ago, 40 years ago. I don't get as many reports out from that area. But here we are with manholes too low. All right. Well, this is new to me. I'm going to be out that way later this evening, Storm and Norman. So I think I'm going to take a look and see what you're talking about. So thank you for alerting me. The voicemail number, if you'd like to leave a message, 251-216-1976. That's 251-216-1976 to leave a message for the Uncle Henry Show voicemail. Now, let's see. I've got another message that was phoned in. This one is from longtime caller Buford.
And this here's Buford. Henry, I was in Wilmer the other day in a gas station buying me some livers and gizzards. Henry, I tell you what, gas station dining is some of the most underrated dining there is. I have had some of the best food, especially of the fried variety, at a gas station.
Yeah, and pausing there just to say, yes, I agree. I've also had some outstanding gas station food. It's especially good in rural areas where there aren't as many opportunities for people to buy junk food. And the gas stations fill in the gap. And I can't remember exactly where it is, but there is a gas station somewhere between Creola and McIntosh, I think. I think it's between Creola and McIntosh. There's a gas station somewhere in those parts that is just you see people lined up trying to get in there and buy their food. They just do such a great job. But back to the message.
Anyway, I didn't call about gas station food. Henry, when I was in line waiting to pay for my livers and gizzards, one of the more prominent citizenry of Wilmer got behind me in line. We got to talking, and yes, Henry, Wilmer does have a few prominent citizens.
Good.
I don't appreciate people thinking they didn't have prominent citizens, but Henry, this feller lives in a regular house on a slab. His domicile did not come with wheels attached, so you know you can take what he says to the bank. But Henry, we got to talk.
By the way, when I was a young man, I did spend plenty of time out in the Sims, Fairview, Wilmer area. And I knew a guy. Once I was taken, and I'm sorry to interrupt the voicemail like this. I promise this won't take long, but talking about prominent citizens of Wilmer, there was a guy in Wilmer that took me for a ride in, I think it was a Datsun car, back when there were Datsuns. And the steering wheel was broken, and I was alarmed he was steering the car with pliers. That's Wilmer. You do what you got to do. And yes, I was driven by somebody that steered the vehicle with pliers.
Talking about how they closed off Big Creek Lake to the rest of the citizenry, and they said a Wilmer citizen told me that the real reason is that people were bathing in Big Creek Lake.
People were what?
Said it was.
People were bathing in Big Creek Lake? That's why they closed the lake?
You can take what he says to the bank. But here we got to talking about how they closed off Big Creek Lake to the rest of the citizenry, and they said a Wilmer citizen told me that the real reason is that people were bathing in Big Creek Lake. Said it was some sort of tradition started after Hurricane Frederick. But Henry, you know, as the 1980 soap commercial said, that everyone is glad that you use Dial soap. Let me tell you this. Malls does not like you using Dial soap. Dial soap seemed to be the preferred soap in the Big Creek Lake Wilmer bathing. And the soap scum that it produced was such to where it wreaked havoc with the sterilization equipment in the water treatment facilities at malls. And let me tell you this, Henry, it got in the way of them putting the fluoride into our water per the wishes of our lizard people overlords. And so, Henry, if people would not be bathing in Big Creek Lake, they would not have shut Big Creek down. Henry, have you ever bathed in Big Creek Lake? I ain't saying nothing, just asking. And Henry, out of respect to you and your new wife, I will not imagine you bathing in Big Creek Lake. But
Good.
If I do, you will be fully clothed in 1920s style swimming costumes.
Okay.
Anyway, Henry, just passing that along. And if you want a daggum good fried pork chop, try the Shell station at Range Line in Hamilton. Anyway, you have a good day.
Buford, thank you for your voicemail. There's more show coming up after the break.
$710 Time Saver Traffic from the Main Street Flooring and Design Traffic Center.
I-10 traffic through the Pensacola area remains clear. If you're getting into Mobile, the eastbound side, still seeing a 18-minute delay going from I-65 to the eastern shore of the Bayway Bridge. Eastbound Highway 90 traffic, also 5 extra minutes there, coming down from 165 to I-10, including the Cochrane Bridge. I'm Joshua Dausch.
This report is sponsored by Mattress Firm.
YouTube viewers, if there's any left, let me check. And there's a small number of people looking in, yes. KP, I don't know what DMX is, and I'm not going to look it up. I want to stay in a good mood. So I'm not going to look up what DMX of talk radio might mean. And by the way, Buc-ee's, in my opinion, personal opinion time, food way overrated. Yes, it's way overrated. All right, let's see. What can I tell you? Let me see if there's anything I can tell you. In British Columbia, in Chilliwack, British Columbia, which is a real place, someone donated 11 rings and 2 medallions to the thrift shop in Chilliwack, British Columbia, the Thrifty Boutique. The staff there priced each item at about $21 before putting out for sale. An archaeologist now says that the 11 rings and 2 medallions date to the 4th or 5th century and may come from somewhere in the Western Roman Empire. So someone donated items that might be more than 1,000 years old to a thrift shop. But you know, people don't know what they got. The most expensive hamburger in the world would cost you $11,000 if you were a person stupid enough to purchase it. The only way to experience the $11,000 most expensive burger in the world is by invitation. The Asador Aupa restaurant in Spain has to invite you. The burger took 8 years of research and development to create. The exact ingredients remain a secret. If you're selected, you're invited to a private room and you're served the burger, and it's made with, let's see, they claim that it is the 3 best meats in the world, the most exclusive cheese in Europe, a special sauce prepared with a luxury spirit. All right, well, only what you would have to be, how do you find somebody wealthy and dumb at the same time to invite them for this? All right, back on the radio in less than 30 seconds.
There's nothing like football and Kings Hawaiian sliders. There's something about those soft, fluffy, irresistible Kings Hawaiian sliders that make them a winner on game day. Pick some up this weekend in the bakery or deli section of your grocery store. Kings Hawaiian. There's nothing like it.
Available everywhere with the iHeartRadio app. Now #1 for podcasting. This is News Radio 710, WNTM, an iHeartRadio station.
It is 5:50. Uncle Henry Show. News headlines coming your way in 10 minutes. Telephone number here, 251-479-2723. That's 251-479-2723. Hello, caller.
Uncle Henry.
LD, the retired mad trucker.
Look, there's been a change of plans. I've given this a lot of thought. I'm not going to take Auburn at all. I'm going 1750 for Alabama -3.5. What do you think?
1750 Alabama -3.5.
Yep. Got to give away 3.5 points. But that's not why I called. I just want to let I want to make the statement out before, so if y'all, when I call later, either I won or lost, y'all won't say he's not telling the truth.
Real quick, before you tell me why you called, wait. I want to make sure I have the number right. It's 1,700 or 1750 Alabama.
$1,750 -3.5.
-3.5. All right, got it. Now, you called about what?
Yeah, does your mother go through a lot of soap?
A lot of soap?
Yeah.
Well, I don't live with her, so I don't really know.
I was listening to Buford, and he was talking about, they don't want the Dial soap in Big Creek Lake. But I was thinking, as big as your mother is, she probably goes through at least 1 bar a day. Wouldn't you think?
Sick freak! She's not that big. She's of normal size. Who's paying you? Who's paying you, LD? This has got to be. Look, he just retired. He's feeling the pinch already because the money doesn't go as far as it used to. He's just retired. Who's paying you? Somebody's paying you, and I want to know who. All right, listener, I apologize for speaking harshly into the microphone. I want you, the listener, to know that my angry demand was not shouted at you. No, it was not. And I know it upsets you to hear this. You want this show. I don't know what you want, actually. You probably, who knows? You might not even be conscious at this point. You might have drifted off. But if you are still conscious listening to this, it wasn't meant at you. It was meant at that one caller, LD, who's obviously, he's gambling away his money. And I guess maybe he's getting his gambling money by attacking my family. But I'm not going to yell about this. I just want to know, who's paying you, LD? Who's paying you? All right, I got a voicemail. I've got to get to this before it gets overly stale. This was phoned in by 68-year-old Chris of West Loxley. I think it was Wednesday, talking about a little college football.
Roll Tide, huh? Another beautiful day here from the front porch in West Loxley, Alabama, USA. Eagerly anticipating in approximately 2 hours the kicking off of the Uncle Henry program.
Thank you.
By the way, speaking of kicking off, I heard on the radio a little earlier, today begins the first of 49 consecutive days of some type of football game on the television, whether it be college, high school, professional, whatever. So that means there's some college games on tonight.
All right, I'm pausing there just to say, so a day or two ago, 49 consecutive days with some kind of football on television. So that just shows that the people that run that run TV networks or TV stations, they're not completely dumb. They're not as now. A lot of times we think, what are they on? Do they hate our country? What's the matter with them? These people that run these TV stations, what's the matter with them? But at least we know they're smart enough to put the football on every night, because you'll get people to watch. If you put the football on, people will watch. I'm surprised there's not even more football. In fact, I'm surprised that they haven't really perfected year-round football of some kind. And I'm sure that will eventually happen. But anyway, back to the message.
So that means there's some college games on tonight. How about that? 49 straight days. And it'll be gone in a flash.
Right.
Hey, Uncle, by the way, too, kudos and thanks again for doing the pod of the lady telling the story about being held hostage by the rooster.
Oh, now, 68-year-old Chris talking about a podcast I put up earlier this week. Uncle Henry Show podcast.
Pod of the lady telling the story about being held hostage by the rooster. I believe I've probably heard that, if not almost, but I think I've heard that every time you've played that. And it just gets better each and every time. I still laugh my rear end off, brother. That's the good. Thanks. And roll, Tide, roll.
Roll, Tide, roll. 68-year-old Chris of West Loxley. Thank you for the voicemail, and thank you for enjoying that. Yeah, that was a phone call I got on the Uncle Henry Show back in 2015. And it's like a 10-minute phone call about a rooster. Now, most radio professionals would be fired for talking to a caller for 10 minutes, but she told a great story about a rooster. You can find that podcast on the iHeartRadio app. Look for the Uncle Henry Show podcast on the iHeartRadio app. Back with more after the news break.
I'm Chad Pergram with the Speaker's Lobby. The government shutdown plods on. House Speaker Mike Johnson declared that because of the shutdown, quote, real pain is being endured by real people because the
YouTube viewers, I appreciate your viewerhood. I'm turning the camera off now. There's more show to come on News Radio 710 WNTM. And I cannot think of an excuse for tomorrow, so I will be here tomorrow at the regular time, unless I think of something between now and then. But probably going to be here. So thank you for watching. Have a pleasant night and a pleasant tomorrow.
with federal workers and their jobs on the line, or was this a game with trolling? Johnson then said that President Trump was, quote, trying to make light and point out the absurdity of the Democrat position, but then added that they were using social media to make their points, which some might feel, quote, entertaining. So it's hard to tell. Is the government shutdown serious, or is it time to